Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Dental Startup Journey, where we bring you the guidance, the tools, and the strategies to help you launch your first dental practice successfully. I am your host, Maritza Duran, and today we are going to dive into one of the most pressing decisions when you're starting your dental practice, choosing the right software to manage it all. I am joined today by McKenzie and Emily from Open Dental, one of the most respected and customizable dental software platforms out there. In case you were wondering if you were going to choose between cloud-based versus what kind of AI features and things that need to integrate to help you run and launch and grow your first dental practice, imaging software, clearinghouse, all of those things, this episode is going to be packed with tech answers that you need to know in order to set up your systems with confidence. So we're going to jump right in. Thank you so much, Emily. Welcome. And McKenzie, welcome to the show. And let's kick off with some of the basic pressing questions for our startup audience. The first question that I have for you ladies is Open Dental cloud-based or server-based? And what is the real difference for first-time practice owners whenever they need to decide between the two?
Yeah, so Open Dental has both cloud and server-based options, and you can work with your IT as well to set up your own self-hosted cloud-based option as well. The biggest difference between cloud and server-based is how you need to be able to access your database. Cloud is probably more helpful for offices that have a lot of different locations, whereas server-based is something that's a little bit more maintainable for a single office.
Perfect. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the what Open Dental actually offers, just beyond the scheduling and the charting. What are some of the things that dental first-time practice owners need to consider when choosing a platform? Whether it's server-based, which you just answered, it's more if you're a small private practitioner that you have more control of the information, then you still have the option of going cloud-based versus a server, correct? Now, they already know the answer to that question. Now, my next question is, what are some of the services that Open Dental provides as a full practice management solution?
Yeah, so Open Dental is a very comprehensive software. So from maintaining your schedule to all of your charting to your treatment planning, if you have discount plans, if you want to maintain payment plans, all of that can be done within Open Dental. It even has options for your time card, things like that. In addition to everything that Open Dental offers, we also integrate with several other different softwares to really be able to enhance what Open Dental already has, both with native integrations that are kind of built in that we help maintain, and API integrations that other developers can create themselves by using Open Dental's framework to make sure that things are running smoothly. On top of kind of the base level of what Open Dental offers, we also have some additional services like e-services for texting, online scheduling, online payments. We also offer custom forms and custom queries to help you be able to use Open Dental to its fullest extent.
So I'm going to break this into a couple of follow-up questions, if you guys ladies don't mind. And I said before our recording the session that I have a client that it's considering doing a third-party membership management for the platform or company. And I said to my client, hold off on outsourcing the management or the setup for the membership program, because we already have done some of the competitive research. We understand what other competitors are doing, and we came up with a solid membership program, an in-house membership program for non-insured patients. And so she's considering outsourcing the management, like the charging and things like that. So if I'm understanding correctly, because I've heard of, but I'm happy that I'm asking you, since you guys are the experts, that you guys already offer a solution within the platform where if you have a membership plan, you can basically store the patient's information and break it down. Can you elaborate a little bit more on how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a feature in Open Dental called discount plans. It's often what offices will use for their in-house membership plans, where a patient is usually uninsured, so they're getting a discount on their services. So you can easily create a fee schedule for whatever you're charging those patients who are on that membership plan. And Open Dental will automatically keep track of like your original office fees and whatever discount those patients are getting. So they're able to see that like in their treatment plan. It's also reflected in their account, what discounts they're getting. And then if you want to automate like the charging of the fee for the discount plan, we have a feature called recurring charges, where if you're using one of our integrated payment options, it can automatically post the charge and it will go ahead and also allow you to run their credit card automatically. So you can set it up to be fully automatic, or you can go into the tool and run it like a specific day each month.
And there's lots of reporting for that as well. So you can track everything that you need to track with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you do have the tracking capabilities, the analyticals as well for tracking the patients that are on our membership plan.
Yep.
Are there any sources for creating some form of not a campaign, but like if we were to want to have a landing page that comes in for people to purchase or use these things? You mentioned online forms as well, which is important because a lot of times one of the things that I struggled with as an office manager was underutilizing a lot of the softwares and platforms that, as you know, that we had in the office. And whenever you thought something was not offered by this platform, you would start basically looking for alternative solutions, just not knowing that it's already part of your current platform. And so this is one of those things where, for me, it is important to always have a side-by-side comparison of the features that are offered from one platform, because a lot of times we are overlapping on a lot of the features between companies. So online forms is part of it. The membership program is also on there, including the payment option or like the automations of the payment options. It's something that you can manage through there. The analyticals, of course. Anything that I missed before I jump on to my next question?
I think that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And you mentioned something like, are there any components of the need to use a third-party company for like email messaging and things like that? Or is this something that you guys have already incorporated into like patient communication or anything of that sort?
It's a little bit of both. So we do have like integrated email, so you can email like an individual patient. We both have insecure and a secure option. So depending on what you're emailing, and then, but if you're wanting to do like a mass email campaign, we have a third party that we use for that.
Okay, so then there is the individual one-on-one basis in which you can do patient communication via email, right? And you could integrate with that. But then if you wanted to have like more of a email blast type of feature, then you would use like a third-party CRM or one of those other alternative companies that you integrate with, but it would be something that the doctors would need to consider elsewhere. Perfect.
Yes.
So
And then,
go ahead.
sorry, to add on to the email, we also have automated email as part of some of our e-services. So appointment reminders, like a reminder to pay or like a link to a bill, appointment confirmations, things like that are also
So those are,
included in our
yes, so those are the
e-services.
features that we try to always, enhance it with a third party. And I always say, if you already have it within the platform itself, then the operational overhead is something that we want to consider. And when we're first time buyers or consumers, if you will, not knowing what it's offered, it's just as it could be detrimental to your overhead, right? Because you're just overlapping on all these services. That's at least what I've experienced. I don't know if you guys can relate to this, or just seeing a lot of doctors having multiple companies to run the same features that you already have covered under your platform, right?
Yeah, we definitely run into that a lot.
Very often. Yeah.
So hopefully after our audience watch this episode, they will be able to say, hey, these are the things. And I'm going to make sure that your information is listed on here so that they can reach out to you. But yeah, if anything, if you're going to if I want our audience to walk away with anything, it is make sure that you are understanding all of the features that are included so that you can save on the long run, because the more that you utilize the platform that you have, and you guys are always evolving and innovating and coming up with different features that are able to help reduce the cost of operations, but then you're able to maintain everything under one platform rather than having to navigate multiple softwares or companies simultaneously just to solve one problem, right? So this is great. I'm learning a lot, and I'm happy that we're having this conversation. Now, AI is kind of like the new buzzword across the industry right now, and dentistry is not excluded from that. So this is a question that I had one of my doctors recently asked, because everything is now, we got to chat GPT this and chat GPT that. So AI is kind of like the new big thing next to dental insurance and trying to stay away from them. So what AI options are currently available through Open Dental users, and how do these features help the practice management be kind of like more efficient?
Yeah, so we have a couple of third-party integrations that we rely on for the AI portion. The most popular is going to be Pearl AI, and that's going to do the diagnostics help and from our imaging module. And then Bola AI is going to do more of the perio charting, so we work with them as far as voice recognition and perio charting. We have another one coming called Better Diagnostics. That's just another option that we'll have soon, but then we do have a couple API options as well. But so all of our AI options are going to be third party, but we do work with the developers to make sure that they'll work well in Open Dental.
Great. So basically, so in other words, when you mentioned Pearl AI and other companies, I love Pearl AI, by the way. But as far as the clinical side of things and diagnostic tools, that's one thing. But are there any other features or things for like the administrative team that you guys are incorporating as part of, maybe analyticals or other things to help enhance the performance of the teams? Because I know that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, like with the limitations and the things, but I see more of these tools as more of the diagnostic tools for the providers. And I'm always thinking about my fellow, like administrators and people that are dealing with patients on a day-to-day basis. Any of those other features that that our audience should be on the lookout for or looking to consider as you guys are exploring new ways to enhance it?
Yeah, not so much for the AI when it comes to the front office side, but we do have a lot of features that will just make doing things easier. So templates, so that you don't have to type out the same thing over and over. A lot of copying and pasting so that you can have, if you're doing like block scheduling, for example, don't have to do it for every single day. You can set it up. So there is, once the setup is done, it's easy to kind of keep it going. So a lot of templates and note taking and setup. And once you have it ready, then it's easy to move on from there.
Perfect. That's awesome. Now, so integration, and you mentioned something about integration just recently about, like third parties and whatnot. And that's huge, especially when startups are basically investing on a lot of new equipment and services that they need to work on to get started. And then as they grow and scale the practice, so, and a lot of these technologies and equipment services, they need to sort of talk to each other. So so I want to talk about a little bit more about the integrations, clearinghouses, and things that Open Dental uses or recommends for like things that have to do with the processing of these type of technology integrations.
Yeah, we have a lot of options. We do work with a lot of different vendors, but our top two, especially for clearinghouses, is going to be Electronic Dental Services, or EDS, and then Dental Exchange. And the reason for that is they do a lot more than just claims within Open Dental. So there's obviously going to be the sending of claims, but there's also attachments is the big one. So making sure we can do attachments straight from Open Dental, and then billing as well.
Okay.
Or patient billing.
What about like X-ray or imaging software? Like, are some of the most what are some of the common software imaging systems that integrate with Open Dental?
Yeah, so we do have our own built-in imaging capabilities, but if you are looking for something a little extra, we bridge to so many. What would be the most popular, McKenzie?
think Dexis, and there's a large laundry list of companies that we integrate with on our website. Most of the major ones, as long as they're not proprietary, we'll be able to bridge to, so you can click a button in Open Dental, it'll go ahead and launch your patient, save you some of that extra work, having to search for them or open up that program separately.
Beautiful. So I would like to just, I failed to do this at the very beginning of our conversation, but I would love to hear for my audience to learn a little bit more about you, because you guys have so much insight and information about the software and Open Dental itself, that I would love to basically learn a little bit more about your journey. How did you guys get into the dentist, the industry and Open Dental to begin with, so my audience and myself can get to know you a little bit better?
Yeah, so I mean, I got into Open Dental kind of by chance. I didn't have a dental background. Both Emily and I have worked in several different roles within the company.
We both started in the call center.
Yep.
And then
So we're very familiar with the program. We also are the people who are responsible for writing all of the online manual content. So I think there are probably not any two people who know more about Open Dental than the two of us.
You have probably spoken to me in a lot of my offices when I was, if you're at the call center, because that's one of the very first things when I go into an office. I'm like, let's pull up the dashboard for Open Dental with the phone number that you just memorized, because anything and everything that I could not, that I had an idea of, that I wanted to see it functioning in the office, I would just dial the number and speak to one of you ladies, and or request the token number to be able to get a call back to have those services done. And I have to say, from my exposure, and I've been in the industry for 25 years now, and I've worked with a lot of different softwares. When doctors typically ask me, I always tell them, have a conversation with the team from Open Dental. It's very user friendly, and it's not complicated at all. Again, I started my career as a dental assistant, and then I worked my way up to front desk, office manager, regional manager. And when I compare softwares, it's just like the user friendliness of Open Dental is just, always out there. This is just my personal experience and opinion. So my question, as we wrap up, and you guys have been so generous with your time, if someone is still comparing their options, what would you consider sets Open Dental apart from other software, dental software companies out there?
I think you kind of touched on it. I think our support is really like top tier. You can call as many times as you need for any question that you have. We have customizable trainings, both online and on site, to help you and your staff learn something. Is either switching from other software or being a startup office, there's always going to be a little bit of a learning curve, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. So I think our support does a really great job at helping temper all those fears or reservations and help people learn the software. And we've got a lot of resources for you as well.
That's awesome. And so what is the best way for doctors that are looking to have a conversation with you to get connected with you guys?
Yeah, so they can call our support number. All of our contact information is on our website. They can speak with one of our support techs or get a live demo. We also have a demo available on our YouTube channel. And we also offer a trial version where doctors can really get a feel for how the software works, because they're able to use it as much as they need to. There's just a patient limit, but other than that, they'll be able to kind of see all of the features that are available.
Yeah, that's typically what I recommend that they do, is just like to have the dummy version and have the test patient so that they can start navigating it and setting it up right. It's huge. And I do know that you guys do offer a lot of on support, but also like a lot of self study materials and videos and things like that that are very helpful for those doctors who are just getting started. So I guess that wraps up for today's episode of the Dental Startup Journey. I want to thank you both, Emily and McKenzie, for helping us break down the software side of launching a practice. This is a decision that can truly make or break daily operations if not taken into account properly. So if you're building your first practice and need a system that is customizable and supported by real humans, right, and designed to grow with you, check out Open Dental. The links are going to be on the show notes, and along with other information for trainings and integration. If you guys want to offer that for the doctors, we'll put it on the description. And that wraps up another episode for today. So thank you for all of us joining us or watching this. Again, if you've got a dream, we've got the tools, and I really wish to connect with you. So until next time. Okay.
Thank you.